Hello juniors, and welcome back to Computer Systems and Programming. For this video, we're going to be going over the debugging process and how you can use the Eclipse debugging tool. So first, we need to talk about what is the Eclipse debugging tool. So the Eclipse debugging tool is an alternative mode in Eclipse that gives you additional functionality while running your program. So while running the program in debugging mode, you are able to take the program step by step and go through the program one line at a time. You can also see the variables that are currently made, and you can see their values. With this, you can have the program stop at certain points, and then you can check that the variables are the values that they are supposed to be. So, how do we use the debugging tool? So to go into debugging mode, all you have to do is click this little icon in the top right corner. Then this will change your layout and add a couple new windows. If yours doesn't look similar to this when you first click it, you can always do window perspective, reset perspective, and it'll reset it to something similar to this. I do have mine a little customized because I like my stuff a certain way. You still have your project editor, you still have your console, and you still, but you didn't have anything over here, but you still have your editor here. It's just a little bit it's just organized a little bit differently. So let's take a look at what new windows are in here. So we have a new window of variables. This will show you all the different variables that you can, all of the different variables that you can have in your program while running it. So it'll show you the each one that you create, basically. So it shows you a lot of different things, but you can look at the variables and then see what's inside of it. So let's actually let's go through the rock, paper, scissors tool, or the rock, paper, scissors module, and we did this project at one point. I have a little breakpoint here that you can add by double clicking, and this is used for the debugging mode, so you have to use this. But let's run this in debugging mode. First, you have to use, instead of using this, use this, debug as Python run. So you know that PyDev debugging is started. So now I'm going to just enter an option, and I know that right after I choose an option, it's going to stop. So let's go ahead and run it. We can see it stopped at this line. We know because it's highlighted. It's telling, this window is just kind of telling us what we're in currently. So we're in rock, paper, scissors project, the module, in the main thread module, line 50 is where we stopped. Over here you can see all these variables lit up. So we can see all these different things. We have choice, which is our choice. It's rock. CPU choice is 0, and we know that it can only be 1, 2, or 3. So this line has not happened yet. It stops before the line happens. Human score is still 0. CPU score is 0. But we do have this random module set up. So you can hit these drop downs if you have different variables to, like, if you have lists, it'll show you all of the items within that list at each specific index. So this is pretty cool. It allows you to kind of go through. The next thing you're going to notice is the new stuff on your toolbar. So this is the main little area that we'll be focusing on for the debugging, but you can feel free to explore all this other stuff. This is just the things that I use while debugging. So this button is resume. It allows you to continue the program past the breakpoint. So if I click this, it'll run all the way through until the next breakpoint. It'll stop at the next one. So first I have to answer a thing. So I'll answer it, and then it stops again. So this allows you just to go a whole nother round around. But if I would have put a breakpoint down here, it would only go until here. So it just goes to the next breakpoint. Suspend pauses the program in its current state so that you can kind of look at it. So if I were to click resume, and now I'm back on the choice, if I click pause, it kind of pauses the program where it's at, but I could go and run it. I could run it again, and then it'll continue going. So next, there's the terminate. This ends the program, just like the terminate button down here. So all I did was just close it. I'm going to rerun it so that I can continue talking about these. So let's get back to our breakpoint. This allows you to step into a line. So if you're calling a function or you're doing a loop or an if statement, it'll step into the actual line. So if I step into this line, it's going to take me to the randint function. So it opened random, it opened this module, and then opened randint, and now it's going to now it's calling self.range. So if I clicked into this, it'd take me to that, but I don't need to. Instead, I'm going to do step over, which what step over does is it skips, it just does this line as the program normally would. So now it brought me back to this. So now if I step into this line, it'll say, it'll compare everything and say, oh, nothing is, the choice didn't equal Q, so we're not going to compare it. In this one, it does the same thing. If I step into only really works with functions. So in these instances, step over and step into are the same thing. But you just saw that this condition was correct, so it went to these lines, did the human score. So you can kind of follow a program. If you keep clicking this, you can just keep following the program to check that it's doing everything correct. So you can just be like, yep, that's right. Oh, my answer did equal rock, which means the computer answer equaled rock. We can check that right here. Computer choice was 1, so that means that 1 equals rock. We can see that in our thing. So yeah, it did the right thing. It called a draw, and then it didn't update the score and just printed it out. So you can kind of just go through your program like this. The last button lets you step over the whole code until the next breakpoint. So if I click this rock and then I click this step over, it's going to go all the way through until I choose again, which is boom, and then I can choose again. And then it stops at this breakpoint. So resume and step return kind of do the same thing, but they do have a little bit more complex things if you get more into the debugging tool. So let's talk about a breakpoint a little bit. A breakpoint is where you can tell the program that you want to stop. To add breakpoint, you just double click the left of the line and it makes these little dots. You have this breakpoint thing over here, and it'll tell you in all of your programs where the different breakpoints are. So you can see where in rock, paper, scissors, there's one at line 54 and line 50. So that's kind of cool if you like that. And then now you see what a breakpoint looks like. So that's basically how you use the debugging tool. You can go through, check everything, make sure that it's looking correctly. It really helps for when your program throws an error. You can see exactly, well, the program tells you what line it throws an error on, but it can tell you can kind of step your way up to the error and kind of check that it does everything correctly. So that's everything for the debugging tool. Now you should have a kind of more complex understanding of it, and you can use it during your projects to kind of fix anything that's broken. All right, juniors, I will see you later.